There are several potential pitfalls that spring to mind when thinking about the setting up and operation of a management company.
One of the biggest issues with flat management companies is the turnover of leaseholders within the building. As the management company, both its directors and its members are formed from the leaseholders of the building, an issue can develop whereby people sell on their lease and move out of the building. The issue is that those who are leaving the property may have been actively involved in the management of the company, but those who are incoming are less willing or even outright refuse to do so. This can be particularly acute where the outgoing leaseholder is a director of the management company, because if the incoming leaseholder is not willing to take on that role, there can be a gap at the top of the management of the company. This in turn can lead to the poor management of the building, in that service charges may not be correctly collected or accounted for, or the services not being properly provided. And over time, if this happens again and again, it can lead to serious issues with the management of the building. Another issue that can arise is that of conflict between an individual who is both a leaseholder and a director of the management company. For example, if that individual falls into service charge arrears, the action that should be taken is that the company should take action against them to recover those service charges. But if the director is also the leaseholder, you can see how conflict can quickly arise.
Where a management company is seeking to introduce a new service, they will need to consider the requirements of all the tenants within the block. For example, where there is a lease which only serves the top 2 floors, they will need to consider how the new service and the costs involved will impact on the tenants of the ground and basement floor, for example, who do not use the lift. The introduction of a new service can be particularly difficult for a registered provider, where, for example, they have many affordable rented units within the block. With affordable rented units, they may not be able to recover the service charge directly from the tenants, and therefore the introduction of a new service, which is particularly costly, could be very costly to the registered provider directly, as they will not be able to recover the service charge. In this case, the units could then become uneconomical and could cause an issue for the registered provider.
Quite often we find that the directors of a management company, so the residents themselves, don't have a clear understanding of the way a company should be run and the tasks involved. For example, we regularly see companies that have failed to file their accounts at Companies House or failure to file other key information, and this can ultimately lead to the company being struck off the register. This is obviously an administrative mess and can lead to problems when selling units. Also, if a company doesn't keep an up-to-date record of its members and directors, it can be a problem when ascertaining who needs to vote on particular key decisions, and this may mean that that decision isn't legally valid and binding. Where housing associations choose to take control of a management company, they might acquire it as a subsidiary. And this can mean for many housing associations with recently negotiated bank loans that they need to get consent from the lenders in order to acquire a subsidiary. This can often result in time delays and significant costs, so it may appear to the company that it's actually more trouble than it's worth to acquire it as a subsidiary just to take control of a few units.